It certainly did. Another team, obviously, a team that really benefited from it was Arsenal. And Rory, you guys, you sit top of the league now, clear of, everyone's. I know you're clear of Liverpool by only 2 points, but you're clear of City, the favourite still to win the league by 3. And this comes at a time where you're still very much, you're still heavily criticised. People still moaning about how you're playing, but top of the Prem, starting to score early goals again. Your attackers starting to get a bit more form, qualified with a game to spare in the Champions League. It's not going too badly for a team that I would say most rivals said don't look as good as last year, going to fall away, won't be top of the league again, won't ever create a points gap over City again. Talk to us about how well it's going for you.
Yeah, it's good. The result on the weekend was obviously good. We played unbelievably in the first half and should have put the game to bed, and that did expose that there are weaknesses still there. Should have killed off the game. Defensive mistake, and suddenly it's a position where you could have ended up dropping points. So that weakness is still there a little bit, but you can't complain at where we're at. I think we've handled the Champions League well. We've done our business there. We've handled a few injuries quite well. So, and I think mainly the way we're playing just feels a lot more sustainable than last season. Like last season felt like what I think Liverpool are a bit this season, where there's a lot of kind of hell for leather games, and they're going well for Liverpool at the moment. But you can run out of gas playing like that. And I do feel like Arsenal have got a lot more control, seem a lot more composed in games. So yeah, it's good. And obviously, as long as the results around us keep falling nicely, then like a weekend like the one just got, it's good. It's good.
Are Arsenal more sustainable this year, Kate, than they were last year?
I think so. I think that they're my favourites to win it from here. I do think they look the full package to me. I think they look more complete than City. I think they look more complete than Liverpool as well. And I'm the one who normally says they're bottle it, but I've got this feeling in my gut. And I'll tell you something now, my husband is a massive Spurs fan like me. He's been season ticket holder for years. He said he'd rather Arsenal win it than City because of the cheating that City have done. And that is the gospel truth.
Rent-free, man. Rent-free in your
head. Rent-free, it's just cheats. Cheats shouldn't prosper. So, but yeah, for me, Arsenal, although I don't think they're as good to watch this year, they're scraping results when they're not playing great football, and their defence looks brilliant. But it's the same thing. Are they gonna keep Saliba fit? If they lose someone like Saliba, are they going to crumble? I don't know. But if I had to have a bet right this second on who's winning the league, my money would be on Arsenal. Not going to lie.
Ron, what do you make of that? Obviously, you feel that Liverpool will be in this title race. There's a lot been made recently that because they're not as entertaining this year, Arsenal, as the last, even though defensively they look so much better, that's sort of being overlooked. And for the first time ever in my lifetime, a strong defense is being spoken about as unsustainable. Like, how do you look at it?
Your manager came from the horse's mouth. Defense with new titles, attack wins games, and Arsenal are very reminiscent to my club. I feel like the season last season for them was similar to our 18-19 when we won the Champions League and finished a point behind City. We were kind of blowing teams away. We were the entertainers, and then the season we actually won the league, we were nicking games last minute, but it was still quite controlled, quite resolute. But we weren't blowing teams away. And that is, I still think City win it, but that is the sign of champions. And I think this notion that Arsenal are worse this season, correct me if I'm wrong, Rory, but you scored in and around the same amount of goals. I think you've even conceded less than last season. So to say Arsenal are worse this season, it's just not as aesthetically pleasing, but you can't say they're worse this season. But I do feel they are stronger. And that core, and just to add to what Kate said, that core of Saliba, Gabriel, and Declan Rice, it is so pivotal. It is so pivotal. And them three, for me, if Arsenal are going to go on to win the league, all three of them have to stay fit. I would almost say that contingent there is more important than the actual attack. I know they're going to say they need a number 9 and whatnot, but I think that core there is so important for them. But I've been impressed with Arsenal. I'm not one of these people that, they're not playing well because they're not winning 3-4-0. They're winning games. They're top of the league for a reason. And that's that. So you have to give credit to Arsenal, man.
I know you're not a big fan of Arsenal, Staffy. And I see the way we're talking, your head's been going down. And I get it. We're Man United fans. We're not meant to like them. But where do you stand on this debate? I mean, I'm already starting to see, and I'm going to say this before the sort of Arteta's detractors say it, I'm already starting to see and get the feeling that if they do win the league or they do go on and do well, it's only because Man City fell off. Like I can already see it. That will be the excuse now. Where City were as good as last year or as good as the Centurions year, they wouldn't have won the league. Go on.
Can I quickly chime in? Don't you feel like whenever you do something well or win the league, someone's just going to nitpick something? You can never just win the league and everyone be happy. Someone's going to nitpick. So you're spot on when you say that. Spot on. Yeah,
it's going to come because a lot of people, if it does go that way, there's a lot of people out there on Tinternet that are going to have to admit they were wrong. And typically 2023, people don't like to admit their mistakes. But Arsenal, the attack looks like it's starting to click into gear a little better, scoring earlier in games. And their next match tomorrow night at home away against Luton, that's 3 points. That puts them before City kick a ball. That puts them, 6 points clear of them. Are Arsenal starting to become, as Kate said, potentially title favourites at this point?
I mean, you guys mentioned the span that they have, and yes, that's the most important thing to have in a team. You know, when you have two solid center backs and a solid midfield, you can easily build around that, and that's what they have right now. I do still have concerns about their attack, though, because we've seen the game against Wolves. They started very well. I was watching the game 2-0, and I thought this is going to be another spanking like the Lens game. Eventually, the game just slowed down a little bit, died out a little bit. And Wolves, with that late goal, we looked at it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but, with the momentum, you're like, can they grab another one? And it kind of reminded me of the Fulham game where I believe you guys were up 2-1, and then they tied the game. So it gave me a feeling of that Fulham game, and I was wondering if that's going to happen again. I think I agree with Kate. I think right now they have, in my opinion, the best defense in the league. And I think defense gets you much further than offense during the season and when it comes to winning trophies, because you're not going to be able to beat a lot of teams 4, 5, 6-0, but you can grind out a lot of 1-0s. And towards the end of the season, let's say they're still far in the Champions League, maybe trying to go for an FA Cup or a League Cup. Or maybe you guys got eliminated from League Cup. I actually don't remember, but you get my idea. Too many tournaments going on, and then you're still getting results in the league. You're not going to be looking at your attack and you're like, why didn't we score 3 today? Why didn't we score 4 today? You're going to be like, you know what? We got a clean sheet and we won 1-0, 2-0, and that's what matters. Now, to the point that you made, that people are going to nitpick and say, oh, they're only going to win the league if they won the league. They only won the league because City fell off. As far as I remember, and Terry, you've watched boxing for years. You always talk about that. Muhammad Ali had to fall off at some point. Mike Tyson had to fall off at some point. Everyone who was once a champion had to fall off at some point. So if City fall off this season, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Do you want them to beat City? Rome's probably can remember this when they lost the league by 1 point. What were you guys on? 97 points? That's not normal. That's not an anomaly.
It was twice by 1 point. It was twice by 1 point.
Yeah, but that one was like 97. 97, that's better than most champions. That's my point. That's an anomaly. That's not normal. What's normal is someone drops off for someone else to be the next guy in line. And if I'm being very honest, as much as I don't like Arsenal and people like to cry and call me a hater, I'm not a hater. I'm just saying the facts. The facts are, unfortunately, right now they're the next team up in the line. So if City fall off this season, if they continue the way they are and they don't win the league, I will agree with Kate. They look like the next team coming up. I do just think they need to strengthen in January and get a striker, because you can't be 2-1 up and having Nketiah hit the post, and then Trossard missing sitters. You needed to kill that game off. So, yeah, I would go and get a striker in January.
I hear where you're coming from. And this comment here sums it up. Usman pipe Woodley, and then Edwards pipe him. If you don't watch UFC, that will mean absolutely nothing to you. We've got golden goals coming up very, very soon on the show. Some super chats here. This here says the games were different though, Staffy. At Wolves, we hit the post twice, missed 2 one-on-ones, and had a couple of poor decisions in the final third. I get the concerns, but different from Fulham, is what Tevin